Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the second episode of the pre-PA vlog. I'm ready. You're ready? Let's get to it! So last episode, I basically just introduced myself and explained why I wanted to become a physician assistant. If you guys haven't seen that video yet, go make sure to check it out. I'll provide a link or annotation below. This week I'll be discussing my experience with my first PA school interview, which took place July 24th and the 25th, I believe. So about a month ago, it took place, 3 weeks, and I'm just gonna basically go over how it went. So I ended up driving to the interview. It was quite a hike. It was around 800 miles total. Took about 14 hours, but I made a pit stop in Detroit, Michigan to see my girlfriend, so it was well worth it. Spent a couple days with her, and then I headed the rest of the way to Charleston, West Virginia. That's where the University of Charleston is, and that's where my interview took place. For those of you that do plan on driving long ways to your interviews, make sure you download a ton of podcasts and songs to keep you busy, because driving alone in a car does get pretty lonely, and it's not the funnest thing in the world if you can't imagine that. I would definitely recommend flying if you can afford it, but driving is always usually a cheaper option, and sometimes people like to drive, so I recommend it. It wasn't terrible, it wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but I don't think it affected how I performed in my interview in any way. So this interview was actually 2 days. The first day was kind of an introduction to the program, a question and answer with both the faculty and the students, as well as kind of a social meet and greet, just to kind of get us comfortable for the interview, which was the next day. So it was a 2-day session. So I got to Charleston, West Virginia a day before the first day, so I could kind of get comfortable with the area, get comfortable in my hotel room, relax a little bit, go over a few things before the interview, and that went very well. Charleston is a beautiful place. I highly recommend to get to the sites of your interview a day early if you can, kind of check out the area, check out campus. I walked around campus for about 2 hours. It's not very big, but it was beautiful. So I highly recommend any of you interview goers to do that. The first session, I walked through the door and was introduced by some of the administrative faculty, where I was given a name tag. I then was introduced to one of the students, and then we just sat down in a big classroom, and basically the rest of the night we were introduced to students and the faculty, and were able to ask questions. We had a tour of the campus, we had ice cream with the students and food with the faculty, so it was a great time. And I like that the University of Charleston does this 2-session interview process, because you're just so comfortable during the interview. You already know who your interviewers are because you're able to interact with them the night before, as well as the faculty and the students, and it just makes the process a little more easy. It's still not, you're still going to be nervous. I was still very nervous. I wasn't as nervous as I expected for the interview portion, which was the next morning. My interview was at 8 a.m. Of course, you're going to always be nervous, but that previous session the night before definitely calmed my nerves a lot. So that was really cool. I really appreciated that. So the actual interview the morning after consisted of MMI, which is multiple mini interview. And for those of you that don't know what that is, it's basically you have a set of stations, usually around 6 to 8, and you are asked certain questions about yourself, or certain critical thinking questions or scenario questions where there's sometimes actors, and you basically have to present your thoughts. But I think the best way to prepare for an MMI would possibly just to set up a bunch of different stations with maybe friends or family, and don't let them tell you what the questions or scenarios are beforehand, and just go into these rooms with one-on-one with these people and have them present the question, and then you answer back. And that will get you thinking on your feet a lot quicker, which is what these MMIs really utilize. I will add too that you usually get a couple minutes beforehand to look over the scenario or questions, so you're able to collect your thoughts. We also had a group interview, which was 4 other students and myself in this group, and we sat down with one faculty member where we were presented a scenario, and then we basically had to present our thoughts on the scenario as well. So that was pretty interesting. It was fun. It was pretty laid back. It wasn't really stressful at all. So I've heard of group interviews where they go down the row and ask questions, which that didn't really happen at this interview. So gotta be prepared when a school tells you it's a group interview. Be prepared for both traditional style interview questions as well as these like scenario tasking. So overall, my first interview experience went very well. The interview itself, I thought, went well. The city was beautiful, the campus was beautiful, the students and faculty were very helpful and very inviting. So I guess now I'll kind of go over some interview tips, maybe how I prepared for my interview. So first thing, I'm going to tell you that I read this book called How to Ace the Physician Assistant School Interview by Andrew Rodekin. This book was very helpful. It goes over tons of traditional and behavioral and ethical interview questions, and it goes over right, wrong, and mediocre answers and explains why they're the right, wrong, and mediocre answers. And there's just tons and tons of information in here. So I highly recommend. It also has places in here to write down your goals and different activities for you to practice. So it has like transferable skills, personal traits. It goes over what is a good applicant, what do interviewers look for. So it doesn't just have questions, but it also talks about the process. So in addition to reading that book, I did a ton of mock interviews. I did mock interviews with my girlfriend a couple of times. I did one with my mom. I did want some by myself. So basically I set myself in front of my laptop camera and I basically asked myself questions and then answered in front of the camera. You need to be comfortable with talking with yourself and comfortable with your answers. You need to know what your general answers will be to those common interview questions of why do you want to become a PA, why do you want to go to this program, tell me a little bit about yourself, all those types of questions. You need to know what you're going to say, but you don't want to sound rehearsed. That's one thing. You can rehearse all these answers over and over again and come up with a blueprint what you're going to say, but don't say it word for word. You're going to sound like a robot. You just need to be yourself at these interviews, which I know everyone here has heard that. Be yourself, be yourself. But that is pretty key. Failing to prepare for the interview is preparing to fail. So you need to prepare for the interviews. You can't just go in cold turkey. It doesn't work like that. I also wrote notes about the University of Charleston, the program, what I liked about it, and maybe some questions I had for the program. You should go to the interview with about 4 to 5 questions to ask. But besides that, that's basically how I prepared. Like I said, practice, bunch of mock interviews. That's the best way to do this. There's some services out there that provide a small fee if you have the money to do mock interviews with current PAs and PA students. That's something to definitely look into. I highly recommend that. If not, just do it with your family and friends that also work. I did that and I felt very comfortable at the interview, and I thought all my answers were on point and I got what I wanted to say across. So last thing I'm going to mention is just to have fun during the whole process. You'll do better in the interview. You're interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you. This is a great opportunity for you to get to know the students and the faculty and the program itself a little better. So just enjoy yourself. So for me, coming up, I have another interview upcoming this next week at Arcadia University, and I'm actually going to do a vlog throughout my whole trip, so I'm also driving there. It's a little bit further. It's 1,200 miles. It's going to take me quite a while. I'm also stopping in Detroit again, So I'm basically going to document the whole trip, or not the whole trip, but a majority of the trip, even my stop in Detroit, my stop in Glenside, Pennsylvania, where Arcadia is located, on video. Obviously I can't record the interview, I can't bring my phone into the interview session, so I won't be able to record any of that, plus that might be infringing on the school. So I won't do that, but you'll be able to see kind of what a typical day before an interview, after an interview, getting to the interview is like. So I'm really looking forward to that. But if you guys have any other comments or questions, make sure you email me, add me on Instagram, or just comment below in the video in the comment section. That would also maybe answer other questions that other viewers may have. So just comment below. I'll get to those as soon as I possibly can. It doesn't just have to be about the interviews either. It could be about my whole process right now, what I'm currently going through, how many schools I've heard back from, just any general questions about my undergraduate, about my job, anything like that. Make sure to check out my vlog, which I won't be able to upload it for another week and a half, but it's going to be of my interview at Arcadia, the travel and everything like that. It's going to be really cool. I hope you guys check it out. Thank you again for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. More of these are going to continue to roll out, and school is coming up shortly. 3 weeks until I start school, and then I'll be coming up with daily vlogs at the day of life at Oakland University. Sorry, right here. OU. But thank you again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.